Load to Joy, a games industry story. Part 1. Death. AAA no longer exists, at least in the form it once did. When we spoke the term AAA, we understood that it meant the highest production value, boundary-defining showcase of what games are. A new vision of what's possible in the medium. Over time, many AAA developers and studios have morphed into what I call III development, to the point where there are very few true AAA motes of light in the ocean of III darkness. What is III? Iterate, iterate, iterate. Whereas what we traditionally know as AAA would conceive of a concept for a game, and over the course of a development cycle work it up in areas of gameplay, narrative, and visuals, etc., in an effort to surpass what has gone before, III takes what has gone before and adds to it, in order to deliver an experience that at its core has largely already been had by players, with just enough that's different to warrant a purchase. Same old games, different haircut. The effect of this is stagnation and a shrinking industry. Previously, the AAA industry would be producing enough novelty in the form of largely new experiences to foster a naturalistic growth of player numbers, and thus healthy industry growth. These novelties came in the form of genre expansion or creation, innovative use of hardware or advances in engine technology, which led to boundaries being pushed. This resulted in excitement, in interest from the public, a desire to take a taste. Now that the III ethos is widely pervasive in the industry, the last few true AAA motes of light I mentioned earlier, as well as developers in the indie space, are birthers of new experiences for III to gorge upon, leading to a cannibalizing, shrinking industry. In terms of studios and developers, there are now more squirrels than acorns. And so current players are getting bored, and potential players rarely see anything new to tempt them in. Previously, the industry was an engine of creation. Now those creations are recycled and iterated upon. The industry is consuming itself. The brave studios creating new experiences are rightfully celebrated when they hit upon something players gravitate to, but have no safety net when innovation misses the mark. When this success is seen, the III companies clutch at those successes. Iterate, iterate, and iterate, transforming something new and exciting into a commonplace experience, and in some cases, an experience that inspires fatigue in players. Creativity draws players in. Recycling that creativity pushes them away. How did it come to this? I cannot bring myself to believe that such creative minds that are abundant in every area of our industry, that are legion amongst every discipline, that chose our art form as a career path, would opt to follow this sterile III ethos over their creative spirit and masterful expression of talent in the pursuit of delivering meaning into the world, or entertainment to delight and inspire awe. In fact, I know from over a decade of experience that pretty much every one of my game development colleagues and brethren desire strongly to deliver the best game they can to players. I've also seen how destructive to the spirit it can be when they can't or are forced not to do so. So I pose the question again. Why? Scale. As the budgets grow, as the teams grow, as the expectations grow, as the studios grow, so too do the risks. So too do the consequences of failure. Scale, while a major reason, is not the sole reason, and one exacerbated by the COVID bubble burst. This factor of scale introduces and perpetuates a fear-based mentality and encourages fear-based decision-making. The risks are too high. Let's minimize risk. Let's play it safe. Let's copy what has been successful. Let's bring back what we had success with in a previous era. Let's take that new cool idea that players love, what we have seen work, and iterate, iterate, iterate. In doing so, we know it won't be a total shot in the dark. We are likely to have some success. We can keep going. We can keep making games. We can keep ourselves in this sickly sweet, fear-based mindset. It's easy to preach. It's another thing to step up to the plate. And it's something I and most everybody battles with. I empathize with those that must make the call, that take the step forward knowing the weight of a project or studio is on their shoulders, that understand that hundreds of employees and millions of potential players are riding on the outcomes of the decisions being made. I offer you this, a wider perspective that may be the final piece to give you the conviction needed to strive bravely, holding the torch of creative liberty. Look back on the games that you hold dear. There was always something special at its core. Whether it was a game mechanic that opened the door to new possibilities, a narrative that changed your outlook on life, or some other innovation. It was doing something interesting. It was making a statement. It mattered, and mattered to you. Players are people, and people gravitate to new experiences. People gravitate towards meaning. People want to fall in love with your game, if you'll let them. Games created in this way are what people want, and ironically, when considering risk, are the most likely to have the greatest success. Yes, there is a possibility of failure. There always is. But financial failure, while extremely serious, is not total failure. If you, as an individual, a team, or a studio, have delivered something you're proud to claim is yours, that gave meaning to players, or strengthened you as a team, total failure comes when your game is a financial failure, a reputational failure to the individual and the studio, a moral failure within a team who worked on something they never truly believed in, and a failure to players who never received anything worthwhile from the experience. This type of failure is only possible, and I stress only, when the extremely risky directive of extreme risk aversion is followed. Realize that extreme risk aversion through AAA fear-based game development is a fallacy, and although can lead to a modicum of success short-term, not only has the possibility of leading to total failure, but through long-term pursuit, time and time again, project after project, guarantees total failure as an inevitability, not only through the collapse of a studio or company, but through the slow erosion and collapse of the industry we all want to see thrive. Next time, in Part 2, we'll be looking into philosophical tools and processes and more, which, when utilized properly, could get us back on track and lead to a golden age of game development. If you would like to support this work, it would go a long way and is highly appreciated. Please visit buymeacoffee.com/dreamspersg or patreon.com/dreamspersecondstudio. Links in the description. Thank you.